we need to start owning our own madness. I don't really see, the solution isn't the NHS. The NHS is a huge beast that is very, very slow to change, and we can't wait. This is the lives of our family members. They may get there, but whilst we're waiting for them to sort themselves out and to get there, we have to act.
I've long worked with communities who've been impacted particularly by state violence, so different forms of state violence like policing, like the criminal justice system, like border policing for our asylum seekers. And I think often it's with these communities that we have a very clear understanding of actually how institutional racism operates.
For me, I think it's about taking politics very seriously. I think it's about recognizing how communities of color are marginalized. If we think about, just asylum seekers and just the way that the hostile environment policy is embedded within the NHS to really marginalize anybody who's undocumented, for example, from receiving health care. These are very racist policies that are embedded within our institutions. And to me, unless we actually begin with the very practices that are marginalizing racialized and minoritized communities, we're not really effectively, working towards a transformative difference.
So, firstly, what I mean by community development, and we talked about community development, not just community engagement. We wanted to work with people in the context of their friends, their family, their neighbourhood, and their community.
I always come with hope. I always come, and as Malik said at the start, we've been here many times before, and the disparities and things don't change. Where it changes is if we have to act differently.
I've had to realize that mental health services couldn't cater for my need, and they just didn't get me. And I've had to break away from them to find a very different path in order to go down, where for me it's been more focused on trying to achieve things in my life.
I think one of the major issues that we have with mental health care in general is that they like to measure everything quantitatively. It's all about numbers, it's all about data, but what gets missed there are those personal stories, those journeys. If the numbers aren't right, then the changes that you've made to people's lives that could never be quantified go unnoticed. So I think it's a great way to put some of that qualitative data alongside the quantitative. So tell people stories, really see the emotion, really see the difference that you just can't get from numbers.
And it gives me great honour to induct her into this fantastic group of heroes and heroes from our community. She challenges, connects, and champions.
But see if you can find that thing in yourself, that faith in yourself, and pull that through to help you. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, I are Rasta, and that's what got me through. Lord of Lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah.
And please join me in a round of applause. And those who are hidden behind there, you're going to need to. So Gunjan, come through, Gunjan. Sheldon, please. Darren, where's Darren? Lorraine, Shatta, Shruti, Hafsa, Suba, June, Tanya, Ruth, Nathaniel, and of course once again for Professor Sashi and Malik.
the work that was represented tonight, the MHIP work that was represented tonight is years worth of work, isn't it? 16 years, I think Malik's been running these conferences.
And MHIP was 5 years.
Yeah, and MHIP's been 5 years in the making. I've been the chief exec of South West London and St George's for the last 5 years. So I've fundamentally led that work, and I've built on the work that David had laid the foundations of. So I'm always grateful for David for those foundations. But I'm so proud that over the last 5 years we've really stepped forward that work, and we'll continue to do so. And I think the clarity that our partnership has now and the way in which it's grown is something that we should be proud and pleased of.
MHIP is a very composite package. It was originally commissioned nearly 4 years ago. A lot of hard work went into it. MHIP is a representation of the community wants in the way of change. What's tragic about MHIP is 5 years down the line, most of it has made zero difference to the lives of black people or the experience of black people within the mental health system.
With Vanessa, our friend at the chief executive, and with the ICB, we've reached the space where I think there is a understanding that we have to move forward and have to move forward together. And I think today was a demonstration of the fact and a kind of acknowledgement that we have to collaborate. And I think the positive thing about today was that we celebrated the hubs, which is the ones that the Community Empowerment Network are left responsibility with. And I think we clearly demonstrated that they are successful, they're delivering, the community wants them, the community find them value, we're demonstrating good outcomes. We're also demonstrating the acuity of mental health in the community with people coming through our doors who are not going to the mental health trust and who have been failed by the mental health trust.
And coming here and listening to what you're saying and having seen your hub, I think I first need to come here and learn what you're doing before we start doing things in 24/7, because you seem to be doing a lot that we actually are starting or thinking about it, but you have been doing this for a few years now.
Like, I speak to lots of people who come and access our NHS institutions. They don't like to walk in. They don't like to walk into those institutions that has the label of a mental health clinic, and their neighbors in their streets, people who know about them, and it's a stigma of the place. What's good about this hub, it's behind a church, and it doesn't look like a mental health institution, and people feel safe to walk, and I suppose that how they're welcomed and how they're supported, and I suppose they feel that they're listened to, and that the people are genuinely there to help.
They even didn't have the name mental health center, they were called social centers. So, and this was, you can find it in the writings of Basaglia, so then you corrected because to be accepted by the establishment, but they were not mostly considered as a place of treatment, but rather as a place of gathering people, establishing relationship, accepting and welcoming.
And I think it's very important to underline that the proximity of care, so being close to people's living environment, culturally close, the accessibility, so the welcoming attitude I've seen here. I've seen, of course, the attention to social connections and spiritual aspects of care, of being together. Care as being together, as equal people. That's not just someone taking care of someone.
My experience of today was that it was interesting. I found there was a lot of fantastic voices in the room. I think very inspirational sort of anti-racist conversations that were being had. In particular, I think when we have the NHS also involved in the room, it brings in a certain dynamic. So there was certain tensions that were very clear, certain defensiveness, kind of some back and forths about which direction the NHS is going in. Is it getting better in terms of anti-racism? Is it getting worse? I think these are sort of tensions that were quite apparent in the room tonight.
And through the support and engagement of local communities and activists. I'm sorry, I'm being interrupted. I don't mind being interrupted. I don't mind being people rude to me. I don't mind people exercising their power. What I do mind is that we have a program and the NHS is failing to deliver that. I do mind that black people continue to experience very negative consequences from mental health problems. And the mental health care for black people in this particular trust remains abysmally poor. And I do mind that in spite of having the program, in spite of having the funding and the commitment of the community, they're failing to deliver on this one. That's what upsets me.
So I think what you heard, and obviously I came in halfway through, but I can see that people are very passionate and very committed around things. And I think how Geeta spoke and said, look, we're all together on this, we can disagree around things, but we need to find ways to do it. And I know the NHS people here are really committed. You heard from some of the nurses and other staff here saying that they work there and they are trying their hardest to do it. It's not easy, or we would have all solved it.
I don't think you can now slow back the work in relation to reducing race disparities in mental health services. I think it's about finding the right blend of leadership and will that can accelerate it. I think other places have it. I think we potentially have it here today, and I hope that after today there's a demonstration of positivity that can help us develop the work here in Wandsworth, but also contribute to work that's going on elsewhere.
And you know, the thing that I've always thought here, and coming to this place, it's a place where the local community can trust and they can access it and feel comfortable coming. So that's the important thing we've got to say. And you know, I'm absolutely a firm believer that we need to transfer resources to local communities to provide things like this. You've seen some of the issues that we have in the NHS, and I don't think we're good at doing these kind of things. It has to be local communities that people trust, they're part of it.
To our friends and colleagues, community and faith groups from all our communities. And I want to say a special thank you to Vanessa and the South West London and St George's Mental Health Care Trust. To all the staff, irrespective of whatever colour you are, the fact that you are here today and have had the courage to stay, even though it's been difficult. You are all part of our family, you're all part of our community, and it's really important that we have this space to talk and to really openly discuss. As medics, as managers, you have the ability to change people's lives. Not just physical, mental, or throughout. And I can't think of a better job that there is to be able to do that, to change people's lives in that way. So thank you to all the staff from the NHS. The steps are being made forward within the organisation. We've just got to carry it and keep pushing forward. So thank you to all who have come. Let us share a meal with love and with care, and let's agree to disagree agreeably. Thank you.
Thank you. Food's next door. So, and Reverend reminded me we also need to thank the drummers who warmed us up and were absolutely brilliant to start. So please join us next door.